SCP-7597. Moth of all trades, Master of none. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7597 is contained within a standard insect habitat in Site-322's sub-basement Level 48. Only personnel with the highest memetic resistance scores may interact with SCP-7597 within its sub-basement level. Update. As per an Overseer Directive, SCP-7597 has been transferred into United Nations Global Occult Coalition custody following a transfer request. See Addendum 7597-2-3 for further information. Description: SCP-7597 is a mother-of-pearl moth, Botanio ruralis, capable of convincing people it is the primary authoritative figure of any location it's in. Upon entering a location, SCP-7597 will be perceived as a commanding force among those residing within it. This memetic field is pervasive, allowing subjects to conduct conversations, meetings, and progress reports with SCP-7597, despite it being a moth and acting analogously to mundane members of its species. Furthermore, SCP-7597's actions, flying, landing on objects, eating, etc., are translated to the physical interactions a leader would make, including writing and sending emails in modern English, driving vehicles, and keycard scanning, among others. SCP-7597 does not have a consistent self-identifier or title, but is commonly identified by a variety of names, most of which can be initialized into portmanteau of the word moth or contain the word moth. Some examples include Mohammed T.H., Poetry Lecture at UC Berkeley; Mr. Oscar Thompson Hart, Citadel Advisors Hedge Fund; Mon Mothma, SpaceX. Despite the above phenomena, the memetic field does not extend to SCP-7597's appearance. Subordinates in SCP-7597 influenced locations recognize that SCP-7597 is a moth, but do not consider this fact relevant or detrimental to its leadership abilities. SCP-7597 is treated with great respect by those surrounding it, with all its orders being followed to their exact specifications. This often leads to catastrophic results. Addendum 7597-1. Incident Log. Incident ID 7597-4. Date: March 13th, 2012. SCP-7597 influenced location: Evergreen G-Class Container Ship, EverGo. Result: SCP-7597 took on the captain position of the EverGo. At sunrise, it commanded the ship to stop at its top speed of 30 knots, 56 kilometers per hour. The EverGo then began circumnavigating the globe westward from the Suez Canal. On the 30th of the trip, the EverGo was found traveling south from Maine. The ship then made an abrupt turn towards the United States mainland at top speed, eventually leading to the ship crashing and then sinking off the shore of Mount Desert Rock, which has a lighthouse erected on its grounds. SCP-7597 is the only known survivor. Incident ID 7597-5. Date: June 4th, 2012. SCP-7597 influenced location: Caesars, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Result: SCP-7597 took on the role of pit boss in Caesars Casino. Initially, SCP-7597 acted in its position normally for 37 minutes until witnessing a winning jackpot on a slot machine. SCP-7597 ordered that the win-loss ratio of every slot machine in the casino be raised to a 50% chance of winning. This led to over $79 million in losses for Caesars in just under 48 minutes. SCP-7597's tirade ended after the extreme number of slot machine users, combined with jackpot wins, led to 17 fights breaking out among patrons, a stabbing, 102 cases of severe alcohol poisoning, 14 divorces, 3 cases of child endangerment, and 1 death by heart attack, culminating in an electrical blackout at the Caesars Hotel. Incident ID 7597-6. Date August 1st, 2012. SCP-7597 influenced location. Provisional Site 322-1, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Result: Provisional Site 322-1 was under the purview of Site 322 and Director Paul Legge as part of a research project in the Nanticoke Wilderness. Email records between SCP-7597 and Director Legge show SCP-7597 became acting director of the site upon its entry. The project was cancelled, and development began on Project Biggest Light. This was, for all intents and purposes, the engineering of what would have been the most powerful atomic weapon ever created. Shipments of uranium, plutonium, and hydrogen isotopes were subsequently ordered by SCP-7597. Luckily, SCP-7597 became distracted by Provisional Site 322-1's on-site nuclear warhead and commanded it to be triggered. The two-man key rule was enacted, but the protocol was cancelled by the Overseer Council. SCP-7597 was discovered and contained by unaffected Site-322 personnel on the night of August 29th. Addendum 7597-2. The United Nations Global Occult Coalition. Typical procedure between the UNGOC and the Foundation saw both groups exchanging files of low-threat anomalous entities on a 6-month basis. The SCP-7597 documentation was included in the most recent trade. Despite 6 decades of cooperation between the UNGOC and the Foundation, tensions began flaring once again due to the UNGOC's discovery of SCP-7597. A meeting between Foundation advisors and UNGOC advocates was subsequently organized for a further explanation of SCP-7597 and its anomalous capabilities. Standard operational security dictated that the full extent of SCP-7597 abilities were not delivered, but the UNGOC was given an abridged description. Before this interaction, the UNGOC had been experiencing several conflicts with adversarial governments and hostile groups of interest. It is believed that UNGOC leadership was under the assumption the Foundation was unaware of the turmoil. A formal request for SCP-7597's transfer was received by Overwatch Command. United Nations, Global Occult Coalition, Psyche Division Communique, July 9, 2012. This is a formal request by United Nations Global Occult Coalition High Command for the transfer of SCP-7597 pursuant to House Accords, Article 7, Section 21. On the basis that the exceptional attributes possessed by SCP-7597 provide our organization with a distinctive advantage in upholding the principles of enforcement concerning anomalous phenomena, as well as enabling the strategic establishment of fortified strongholds within highly unexplored and hostile territories. Signed, Ambassador Carl Haas. Foundation response: denied. It was clear that the UNGOC wanted to use SCP-7597 to stage numerous coups. Relations between the UNGOC and the Foundation continued to deteriorate as 10 member countries of the United Nations pulled funding from the organization, citing their fear of attack from the aforementioned adversarial groups. Currently, 14 UNGOC strongholds were seen on Foundation satellites being dragged into a portal of unknown origin, leading to further loss of funding and confidence. On September 19, 2012, the UNGOC staged an attempted pseudo-invasion of Site-322 for the capture of SCP-7597. Several covert UNGOC agents within the lower ranks of Site-322 attempted to access SCP-7597's containment chamber and prepare it for removal and transport. This unilaterally failed, as the agents fell victim to SCP-7597's anomalous effect and began ransacking the site's storage rooms for light bulbs. They were subsequently discovered and removed from Site-322 property. Addendum 7597-3 Transfer Site-322 Director Paul Legge was ordered to a meeting of the Overseer Council on September 20th. Meeting of the Overseer Council. Begin log. 051. What are the current containment procedures for this? Legge. I gathered the people with the best memetic resistance scores and had them organize containment. It's in a glass enclosure in a sub-basement to not affect the rest of my staff. How high are those scores? 95th percentile and above. 0513. I love how good we are at everything. We're giving the Moth to the Coalition. Organize its transfer to be ready for tomorrow morning. You serious? We have the ball in our cart after they went running with their tails between their legs. We're being the bigger people. 056. For once. 055. I think being cordial is a nice thing to do. For all of us. Thank you for being so receptive, Mr. Legge. 052. 1. What? 059 gestures to 051. Oh, yeah. We need the name of the person with the highest resistance value. They're assisting with the transfer. End log. Addendum 7597-4 Update. The transfer of SCP-7597 was organized in accordance with the Overseer Council's order. Researcher Daniela Walker, a member of Site-322 personnel who has the highest recorded memetic resistance value at the site, was also ordered to Site-1 for a subsequent meeting with the Council. The UNGOC received SCP-7597 on September 22, 2012. Following the transfer of SCP-7597 and the re-establishment of a partnership with the United Nations, the strained relations between the UNGOC and the Foundation were gradually repaired. The Foundation played an instrumental role in both subduing and containing the hostile groups of interest plaguing the UNGOC's operations. The Foundation managed a majority of the strategic planning and fighting that took place, leaving the UNGOC to rebuild their lost strongholds, gather funding, and reconstruct their personnel. Below is a request received by the Foundation. United Nations, Global Occult Coalition, Psyche Division Communique. November 13, 2012. This is a formal request for more light, on the basis that more light makes bigger light. Signed, Undersecretary General M. Moth, and Co-Undersecretary General D. Walker. Foundation response: approved. Researcher Daniela Walker has since been hired by the UNGOC as Co-Undersecretary General, responsible for liaison with the Foundation and Overseer Council directly. Orders from SCP-7597 that would see the UNGOC damaged or destroyed will be opposed by her. Thank you for listening to SCP-7597, Moth of All Trades, Master of None, by Plague PJP and Coca-Cola Fiend. If you enjoyed this SCP, please like and subscribe, and follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki, and vote it up to support the author and the SCP Wiki as a whole. I'd also like to give a special shout out to the YouTube members: Powerless, Last of the Four Horsemen, Stephanie Miller, Senescence, Crescent Wolf, Bethany, Salzy, Joshua Vellacorda, Nerodia, Brandon Henry, Adrian McCarran, Sterling, and Eli Shoup. If you would also like to have a shout out, please follow the link in the description. YouTube memberships are confidential, will have access to Saturday members only videos, and all members will get access to the videos before their normal release time. If you'd like to support the channel directly with a one-time donation and receive a Friday shoutout, please follow the Ko-Fi link below. Thank you, and have a great weekend.